How did a doctor telling me my son would live become the worst news of my life? When the doctor said it, he smiled. A small professional smile, the kind meant to calm parents down. He's going to live. My knees nearly gave out. I remember grabbing the edge of the hospital bed to steady myself. I cried so hard I embarrassed myself in front of strangers, nurses, interns, people who had seen far worse. My son Noah was 6 years old, lying motionless beneath a web of wires and tubes. He had been hit by a car while chasing a ball into the street. Head trauma, swelling. Words doctors say carefully. For 2 days, no one would give us answers. Just phrases like, we're monitoring, and the next 24 hours are critical. So when that doctor finally told me Noah would live, it felt like a miracle. At the time, they warned us recovery would be slow. Physical therapy, speech therapy, possible personality changes. I nodded through all of it. I would have agreed to anything. I did not care what life looked like after, as long as my son was in it. The first sign that something was wrong came a week later. Noah woke up and looked straight through me, not past me, through me. I said his name softly at first, afraid of startling him, then louder, then again. He blinked, his eyes focused. He smiled, but it was not Noah's smile. It was too deliberate, too calm. Hi, he said. Just that, one word, flat, polite. I told myself I was imagining things. He had a brain injury. Of course he would be different. Anyone would be. Over the next few weeks, Noah relearned how to walk, how to hold a spoon, how to tie his shoes. Doctors called his progress remarkable. Everyone praised how quiet and well-behaved he was. He's such an easy kid, one nurse said. I smiled back, because that is what you do when someone compliments your child. But Noah had never been an easy kid. Before the accident, he was loud, curious, emotional. He asked questions until you begged him to stop. He cried when cartoons ended and laughed too hard at nothing. Now he sat still for hours. He did everything he was told, exactly as told. If I asked him to clean his room, it was spotless. If I told him bedtime was 8, he was in bed at 7:59, eyes open, waiting. He stopped asking questions. That scared me more than anything else. One night, months later, I tucked him into bed and told him I loved him. He looked at me and said, I know. Not cold, not angry, just factual. Do you love me too? I asked, half joking, half desperate. He paused, a long pause, then nodded. Yes, he said. I understand that I should. I laughed because the alternative was screaming. Therapists told us not to read into it. Children process trauma differently. Personality shifts were common. He's still your son, they said. I wanted to believe them. The moment everything broke happened on a rainy afternoon. We were driving home when Noah suddenly said, you shouldn't take this road. I asked why. There's an accident ahead, he replied. I slowed down, uneasy. A few minutes later, traffic stopped completely. Ambulances, police cars, a crushed motorcycle. My hands shook on the steering wheel. How did you know? I asked. He shrugged. I saw it. I told myself he meant the flashing lights, that he was guessing. But things like that kept happening. He would tell me the phone was about to ring. It would. He would say a neighbor's dog was sick. It died 2 days later. He would look at strangers and say nothing, then later ask why that sad man was pretending to be happy. Once I heard him talking in his room, not playing, not pretending, talking. I stood outside his door and listened. He was speaking calmly, clearly, to no one. Yes, he said. I remember before. My heart pounded so hard I thought he would hear it. I opened the door. He was alone sitting on his bed. Who were you talking to? I asked. He looked at me and smiled. No one, he said. I was just thinking out loud. That night, I went through his medical records again. Every scan, every note. One line stood out that I had skimmed over before. Brief period of cardiac arrest prior to resuscitation. I asked the doctor the next day how long Noah's heart had stopped. Just under 4 minutes, he said. Why? 4 minutes without oxygen. 4 minutes where something might have gone somewhere it was not meant to go. The final moment came on Noah's 7th birthday. We lit the candles. Friends sang. He watched the flames closely. What did you wish for? Someone asked. He looked up at me instead. I already got what I needed, he said. Later that night, as I tucked him in, he said quietly, you were right to be scared. My stomach dropped. About what? I asked. He met my eyes. About me not being the same. I could not speak. He reached out and patted my hand, gentle and practiced. But don't worry, he said. He isn't coming back. I pulled my hand away. Who? I whispered. He smiled again. That same calm, careful smile. The boy, he said. The one you miss. That was the night I finally understood. The doctor was right. My son lived. And whatever came back did not.